All right. Good morning, folks. It's Freedom Friday. We are David and Alyssa Muller coming at you talking about freedom. We love freedom. It's one of our top core values. And we are entrepreneurs because of the freedom that it brings us. Alyssa, what do you got for us Freedom Friday today?
All right. So Freedom Friday, I would love to share with all of you guys how you can travel pretty much free. So here it is. So when you get a Delta American Express card, or pick your favorite airline, American Express. I can only speak to you from what we do, but basically we have a Delta American Express, and we put every single thing that we can each month on the American Express that takes American Express. And with every dollar spent, you get a point. And the points convert to, we use it for travel. You can use it for, spending it on Amazon. I mean, there's a ton of ways that you can use your points, but we choose to use it for travel. So for instance, we'll be going to Europe this next month, and we literally did not pay for our ticket there or back. And we're flying first class on the way home because we converted our points. So obviously we accrued our points to the point where we could cash them in for an airline ticket. And here's the cool part is we didn't actually buy a first class or a business class. We bought a ticket with our points. And because we have risen to the, platinum level of Delta, because we do all these things strategically, they upgraded us for free. So here's how, and a lot of people don't understand that basically you're spending the money anyway. So why not place it on a card that you're paying off? So you're being responsible. You're paying off each month, but then each of these dollars that you spend convert to points. And so literally that helps. I mean, for Freedom Friday, I think that's something that I think is well worth sharing with all of you guys of how you can travel for free or have experiences for free. Now, obviously you guys are like, well, it's not really free because you're spending money on the card. But here's the point is you're already paying for those things anyway. But now you're putting it on a card and paying it through the card. So you're not spending your money twice. You're spending it still once, but you're running it through the filter of this credit card. So with that, I think that tip is pretty valuable. And I think a lot of people don't understand the power of living that way. And it took us a while to actually figure it out as well. And if you're not responsible with credit cards, do not do this because you don't want to rack up debt either. But what we do is we pay our card off every single month. And it actually is set up that way anyway. The card itself is one that you pay off monthly. And we have a couple other cards that we don't have to pay off monthly, but we still do pay off monthly so that it racks up those points. Over to you, David.
Yeah, that's super powerful, not only with the airlines, but also with the hotels. If you fly the same airline whenever you fly, and if you use the same hotel chain whenever you stay at hotels, then it definitely makes it worth it because they like loyalty. And when because they give the points, and like Alyssa said, the points can become very valuable. And if you travel more than, probably 3 times a year, then it makes sense to use some of these strategies. If you only travel once every couple of years, then this probably won't make a difference. But if you travel more than probably about 3 times a year, then it definitely makes sense to to get involved in some of these points programs. And also a lot of the points programs work together. So for instance, when we need a car and we're traveling, we'll get Lyft instead of Uber because Lyft actually gives us Delta airline miles for every dollar we spend with Lyft. And Delta airline miles and American Express miles, they're they work together also. And so we get, it's a lot of value built into just being loyal with a particular company. It's hard to switch though.
Yeah. David, tell them about Hertz because we were a part of Enterprise for a long time and then we switched to Hertz, but I love Hertz. Like literally we get off our plane, we see our name on this board and we pick out the car. Like it's super cool. We don't have to wait in line. We don't have to even talk to.
You don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
So we used to use Enterprise. And the reason I liked Enterprise is because they'll come and pick you up like you need to rent a car, they'll like come and pick you up, take you down to their office, do the paperwork, and then you get a car. So it's kind of cool. But when we began using this strategy really in earnest, we upgraded our American Express cards. One of the things that they do is they have this agreement with Hertz, and so we started using Hertz. And like Alyssa said, we're like upgraded to the gold or whatever the case is. I like that sort of thing because there's this whole separate line to go through. That's a shorter line, more dedicated. Have like a VIP line, whatever the case is. The hotels have them, the airline have them, and the car rental. So the cool thing about Hertz is we don't have to go in the line at all. We reserve the car, and then when we just walk past all of the desks for all the rental cars, right up to the rental cars. There's a big board that has all the names on it. There's our name, tells us where to go. Now, here's the coolest thing. It doesn't tell us where to go to get the car. It tells us what aisle to go to pick out the car. So then we're out there. You can have any of the presidential row or any of the premium row. And so we go and look around and we pick out what car do we want to drive for in these few days. So I don't know. I like it. It's kind of fun. And we had to test out other cars. The other thing about, speaking of cars, we for a long time, we drove leased BMWs. And we're not right now. We just have the old Durango, which is great. But when we would rent cars, it used to always seem like, these cars just are kind of sluggish. They don't really have the get up, all the stuff that the BMW has. But now that we're driving the Durango, and this is, it's an older Durango. Now all the rental cars seem so much nicer than they used to. It's kind of hilarious.
It's all perspective. It's so true. When we had our BMW, I always we have to rent a car because, unless you're a part of the presidential circle in Hertz, which we're not yet. We do but I thought we weren't like the high. What is the highest one? Yeah,
the presidential circle, and most of that was when we went to American Express. That's the agreement they have. You get upgraded, but then also we use them all the time, and so they upgraded us to the next level.
Oh, when we went to Florida, we didn't get to pick the presidential cars, the really high end sports.
Oh, yeah, the presidential row. That's because we had rented just a basic car, and they upgraded us one level, but not all the way.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so when we go to rent cars now, because like David said, the Durango is old. It's like 2000.
Still runs good. Jerry took great care of it.
It's like 20 years old. But we own it free and clear, and it is a larger car, so like we can pack up our stuff if we gotta get up and go. Gas prices though have put a little hit on it, like filling up the tank and it's $120 is a bit of a gulp versus the BMW, which, we had the BMWs during the times when the gas wasn't as crazy as it is now. And so it'd be like $50 or $60 to fill up when it was at the highest amount, which I think, right before we turned it in, it was like $30 or $40 to fill. And now the Durango is a little painful. But when we rent a car, it's interesting because, the Durango has like the old, like put the key in. It doesn't even have like a, auto start. So now when we rent cars, I'm like, woohoo!
It's a push button start.
Yeah. Woo! That's so exciting. And heated seats and AC seats. Like, it's interesting when you take for granted what you had before, so it is very cool, the time period that we're going into, because we're all going to be looking back and really being grateful for what we had at one time. I'm not saying the world is ending, but I'm just saying like a lot of the spoils of America are about to be looked back with, wow, I should have been a little bit more grateful and thankful about the life that I had, or the things that I had, or, whatever. So anyway, that is my Freedom Friday. How about, so are you done then, babe? So you're going to do
No, I actually have just a real quick little thing. We have discovered a surefire, 100% guaranteed way to deal with financial challenges. So I as you know, I like to talk about financial freedom. When we talk about freedom, I think a lot about financial freedom. And like I said, this guaranteed to crush any of the financial challenges that you might be having right now. Consider your finances like a big tub, right? And you got the money coming in, that's your faucet, and you got the money going out, that's your drain, right? And so I see a lot of people that are so busy scrambling to stop up the drain to try to get it to stop draining out, right? Which makes a lot of sense. You're going to want to stop up that drain and spend as little. But the cool thing about the stuff that drains out is it actually brings you, all the resources, stuff that costs money. So when you start cutting that stuff out and stopping up the drain, then your lifestyle, I would assume, would suffer because of that. So here's the thing. If you want an awesome lifestyle and you want all the stuff that costs money, the number one surefire, 100% guaranteed way to make sure that happens is to crank that faucet up all the way. Just turn it all the way up and totally overwhelm all of your financial obligations with income. It works every single time. Try it. With that, that's my message for Freedom Friday. And
if you have any, if you're like, I have no idea how to do that, I mean, definitely message us. That's our skill set, is to help you live in your passion and turn it into profits. So passion to profits.
For sure. If you're not living in your passion and doing it in style, definitely come and talk to us, because I forgot what I was going to say. That's right. It was good. Just hit us up. I guess I'll cut this part out.
Yeah.
I was going to come to it. Okay, let's go back to the close.
Okay.
With that, Muller's out. See you next week. Boom.
Bye-bye.